I've picked this great little spot in the shade underneath these mango trees at Crazy Acres, and I thought I'd do mango chutney by serving it with a Scotch egg. Now, these eggs have been boiled for 4 minutes. I bring a pot of water to the boil. Once it's boiling, carefully drop them, and exactly 4 minutes will give us firm whites, but really gooey centers. Now, in the sausage meat, these are just pork sausages. I've taken the skins off, and now we can add some flavor to it. So there's fat already in there. A pinch of allspice powder. I love this spice, so I'm going to add a generous amount to it. Now for some piquancy, some Dijon mustard, about a tablespoon. And a small pinch of salt, not too much because the sausages are salty. And a generous crack of pepper. All right, that's looking good. Now for some fresh herbs, a combination of parsley and some chives. I like soft herbs for this so it doesn't overtake the flavour of the sausages. And I'll just cut the stalks and just gather them together with the leaves. I want the stalks in this recipe also, so I'm just finely chopping it on my board. Fabulous. We'll pop them into the sausage mixture along with some chives. If you wanted to, you could also change the sausage mixture. I've done this with some chicken, also some beef sausages work, but I always find it's a good idea to add an extra binding agent, so a little egg in the mixture works a treat. These chives are going to give this mixture a nice, subtle, mild onion flavour without overpowering it. All right, now with a fork, just going to mash this up, combining it really nice and evenly. It smells so good with all those fresh herbs and that allspice. Great, now before I start moulding the Scotch eggs, let's start the production line, so the crumbing line. 2 eggs, I'll crack straight into a bowl. That's 1 egg. And the second one. And now I'll grab a fork and we'll just break them up, whisk it really well. So plain flour, whisked eggs, and then here some fine crumbs. Grab yourself 2 pieces of baking paper. I'm going to divide this mixture in half. So that little. And then with a fork, spread it out so it's quite even and it creates a flat bed for our egg to sit on, just like that. Perfect. Now I'll grab an egg and I'll place it in the center, just nest it there, and then bring the meat over on all sides. Now I'm doing this in the outdoors, so it's going to be a little harder to do because the meat softens, but if you're at home, pop it in the fridge for an hour before doing it. It's just easier, more pliable around the egg. So using the baking paper just to press it all together, I'm going to squish it. And then use your baking paper just to press down to ensure that it's completely sealed. And we want it to look like an egg, so now use your hands just to press it together. If you can, just a little water. That also makes sure it doesn't stick to your hands, and then it looks like one giant egg, just like that. Now we need to crumb it, so I start in the flour. We'll dust it, shake off the excess, and just constantly moulding it so it does look like the egg. And then carefully into the egg mixture, and I like to use forks for this just to cover it, making sure you don't leave any dry spots. Now take it out, drain off the excess, and then crumb it. And for extra assurance, because I like this to be super crispy, I'm going to place this back into the egg and then crumb it again. So double crumbing for this style of Scotch egg. So once I finish this one, I'll get on to my next one and then I'll start frying it. I've preheated my oil. I want that to be at 180 degrees. And these are going to cook for about 6 to 8 minutes. I'm going to constantly turn it in the oil until it's golden brown. These Scotch eggs are looking fantastic, golden brown, super crunchy. I just allow them to cool slightly, and I always like to season it after it's come out of the oil, just with some sea salt. And like I said, I'm going to serve these Scotch eggs with gorgeous mango chutney, and then this can just sit on those mango leaves that I just picked. Now I'm going to cut into this so we can see that gorgeous egg and the layers. Listen to that crunch. And then just break that open. Oh, yes. I am happy with that. Still gooey. This sausage meat has cooked perfectly. Very happy with that. It's always like a little surprise in the center to make sure the egg yolk is still runny. That's the challenge of the Scotch egg, and if you can nail that, well, you've got the perfect one every single time. I'm going to cut this little bit off here so I can taste it with the chutney. Dip it in. So good. That is delicious. All those flavors from the sausage meat, gooey egg, crunchy on the outside, mango chutney is 10 out of 10. This is the ultimate picnic dish, and it always tastes better with a little chutney on the side so you can dip in. Yummo.